Hi everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome to Universal Soul Vibrations. This is going to be the look at 2020 month by month for the sign of Cancer. It's also going to include the moon cycles that occur in each month. So we'll be taking a look at that as well as some crystal advice for each month. We are going to start off with what your overall theme is going to be for the year. And your overall theme from the two cards that came up was taking the wisdom that you've gained, the lessons that you've learned along your path in life, and being able to know how to make the right choices, and making the best choices for yourself because you have that wisdom from the lessons that you've learned from things that haven't worked out for you. You're able to recognize the traps along the road, and familiar patterns that you really want to avoid. The two cards that came up are the Talisman and the Choices card from the Alice in Wonderland deck. Now, this Choices card right here says, that you're feeling blocked and restrained, but this being paired with the Talisman card is telling me that in the past you may have had some difficulties making choices. Maybe you overanalyzed them too much. You just weren't sure which way to go. You really didn't learn from lessons in the past, so you weren't sure what to avoid and what patterns not to get caught up in again. But the Choices card paired with the Talisman says this year you have the wisdom. You've learned from it, and it's going to allow you to be able to make your choices more clearly this year. So that's a great overall theme to have for Cancer. Really good year to just move along in your journey. Okay, so the month of January, we have the full moon. I'm just looking because I talked for like 5 minutes and the camera wasn't on. But it is now, so that's good. On January 10th, we have a full moon and lunar eclipse in Cancer, which is on your own sign. And on January 24th, we have a new moon in Aquarius. The full moon and lunar eclipse in Cancer talks about safety related to the home and family, and we know that Cancer likes to be home. And related activities such as cooking, gardening, home repairs, whatever you do when you're home. Your emotions may fluctuate at this time, and it's time to learn to forgive and forget in order to avoid overthinking and getting depressed from overthinking. The new moon in Aquarius on the 24th, your relationships with your emotions might be more complicated because the moon in Aquarius has a need for emotional freedom. However, when you are in groups of people, it is easier for you to understand your feelings and free yourself from negative emotions. Because I think what happens, especially with Cancer folks, is that when they spend a lot of time alone, they do kind of get caught up in that overthinking pattern, and really have a hard time dealing with their emotions. But when they're in with groups of people, they kind of understand these negative emotions more. Your card for the month of January is gratitude. So, with that coming up in the month of January for Cancer, the card is asking you, to be grateful for the things that you have in your life. Not look at what you don't have, not look at the last lack. And I think this is coming up in January because you possibly had spent 2019 kind of looking at what you were lacking, but it's asking you to go into January looking at what you actually have, the people that you have in your life, the home. You have a roof over your head, you have food in your belly, you have a job. Being grateful for all those simple things that life offers us. The quote that goes with the gratitude card is, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. And it's just, this gratitude card is just about seeking out positives in all the situations that come in front of us. And that good things are going to be coming in when we set our place in a place of gratitude. The crystal card that came up for you guys in January is lepidolite, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. The essential meaning for lepidolite is simplification, manageability, organization, one task at a time. Lepidolite spirit appears to tell you to slow down and simplify, for you have been running your attention and your energy too far, too many different things, distracting yourself from the wisdom available to you. And we talked about the wisdom that you've gained from the talisman card. If you feel lost and overwhelmed, it's no wonder. Fortunately, Lepidolite spirit is here to focus you. Think about how satisfying it is to do one task from beginning to end with mindfulness, free of all the noise that distracts you and keep you from feeling a sense of completion. There is always more to do, but life becomes more manageable when you recognize that refocusing over and over again will only exhaust you and slow you down. Remain present doing just one thing, and your courage, conviction, and confidence will return. Take on one task at a time, then it will be easier to hear the quiet voice of your intuition, which will guide you in prioritizing. What needs to get done will get done, and your life will become more manageable if you follow this crystal's lead. In February, on February 19th, we have a full moon in Leo, and on the 23rd, we have a new moon in Pisces. The full moon in Leo, you feel safe in moments when you can impress others and get praise and admiration, yet when you get in the spotlight, you may find yourself at a loss. Maybe you should admit your fear of criticism and inability to accept very important feedback and use it for improvement. Okay, so, the full moon in Leo is all about us recognizing that criticism and constructive criticism I'm talking about is there to just, to give us, improvement in ourselves, and that we should really hear people out. On February 23rd, the moon in Pisces is your greatest sensitivity and perceptiveness of your surroundings. You might experience insecurity and be passive and only wait to see what happens in your life. If you engage in creative spiritual speech, you will benefit from Pisces' great imagination. So don't use a wait and see attitude with that new moon in Pisces coming out. You have to act on things, not just sit there and wait for them to come to you. The card that you guys got for the month of February is fertility. So something is growing. It could be the birth of something new coming in February for you guys. It could be a new attitude, the way you're approaching 2020 versus other years. Because, you got that talisman card that says you've learned the lessons and you have that wisdom. And if you use that wisdom, you're definitely going to approach, your attitude's going to approach things in a different manner. So definitely new things coming in. Something new is growing for you with the fertility card coming up. The quote for the fertility card: there is peace in the garden, peace in results, which is Ruth Stout. And just remember with this fertility card coming up that your words, actions, and attitude will grow wheresoever they may fall. A little effort, small gesture will go in your future. So plant tomorrow wisely, okay? And a good idea leads to many more. So something's coming in February for Cancers. The crystal that came in for you guys is clear quartz in February. And the essential meaning of the clear quartz is amplification, magnification, expansion, and growth, which fits perfect with the fertility card because the fertility card is all about expansion and growth. When clear quartz spirit appears, it is the time to focus on growth and expansion. Whatever you appreciate, love, abundance, or anything else, will grow simply by you observing it and feeling gratitude for it. Are you paying attention to all that is good in your life? Having that gratitude attitude. Clear quartz spirit brings the message that you will amplify whatever you focus on, so focus well. Be mindful of what receives the bulk of your notice. Find what is healing and nurturing and what fosters your well-being. Express gratitude for the bounty that is yours, and it will expand. Whatever makes you feel happy and alive, do more of it. Okay, so do more of what makes you happy. In the month of March, we've got a full moon in Virgo on the 9th and a new moon in Aries on the 24th. The full moon in Virgo on the 9th has you feeling, your feeling of safety is now related to order and clarity. even in emotions, you may have the need to organize everything chaotic and disorganized. Try being more tolerant and accept imperfections of life. It is better to trust life and let it run its own way. Not everything must be according to our expectations. So release expectations in March. And know that nothing is perfect in life. Try to get away from that idea of perfection and expectations. On 324 with the new moon in Aries, the feeling of uncertainty can make you solve problems faster than is natural. Do not rush as if there is a deadline. Try to slow down so that you can decide what you want to do to proceed at your own comfortable pace. So take time to stop and smell the roses, basically. Stop rushing through life. The card that came up in March for Cancer is acceptance. And the big thing that comes up for me with this is the Serenity card, having the ability to accept the things that we cannot change and to change the things that we can. That was the first thing that came to mind for me with the acceptance card. But there may be something that you're going to have to just come to terms with in March, Cancer, with the acceptance card coming up. The quote for the acceptance card: you change the world by being yourself. So, what this card is wanting you to do is what could have been. It's a time-wasting illusion. The shoulda, coulda, woulda. We need to be in the present and in the now, because time is precious, and your full presence in what's going on now is required. Accept the challenge to love yourself, embrace the beauty inside you, share it with others to build a brighter future. The crystal that came up for February for Cancer is black tourmaline. And black tourmaline is a very protective crystal. The essential meaning of black tourmaline is healthy boundaries, repelling and dispelling unwanted energies, shielding and protection, and healthy interdependence. There's a saying that good fences make good neighbors. Well-being likewise requires healthy boundaries that respect everyone's uniqueness, similarities, and differences. The appearance of black tourmaline spirit is a sign that now is the time to make sure those fences are neither impenetrable walls nor so porous and broken down that you start to lose track of where you end and others begin. It's invigorating to move between alone time and together time. Maybe you need to be with some extroverts for a while, or maybe you need a long evening alone with a good book. If you've been feeling tired lately, pay attention to whether you've neglecting yourself or at some level, giving too much, suffering from empathy overload, or depending too much on someone else and crowding them. You may need some downtime to remind you that you are a human being, not a human doing. You do not have to earn love through perpetual self-sacrifice, nor do you have to feel overwhelmed and needy. Healthy boundaries mean leaning on others in a balanced way, and black tourmaline spirit is here to nudge you to be mindful of when you need time to yourself and when you need to be among those who accept you exactly as you are. And that's that whole acceptance thing, as it said in the end. Being among those who accept you as you are. So the black tourmaline is all about setting healthy boundaries in your life. In April, we have on the 8th a full moon in Libra, and on the 23rd we have a new moon in Taurus. The full moon in Libra is all about harmony and balance. You probably desire to keep things nice rather than venturing into fundamental questions. You don't want to disturb things. The piece you must learn to share your good and bad. Oh, I'm sorry. My lighting is horrible in this room, so it's hard to read this. Basically, you need to be able to learn how to share your good and bad feelings. And don't be afraid of who you really are. With the full moon in Libra, with the new moon in Taurus on the 23rd, your safety depends on the need for stability, which is not easy to satisfy now. You have to learn to accept change as part of life. The basic problem is finding your own self-respect in order to ensure that you do not mistakenly seek it in material things. When you accept yourself for who you are, it will become easier for you to find peace and tranquility in the world outside. You know, both of these moons talk about, you know, accepting who you are, finding out who you are. And the card that came up for you guys for April is the Gateway. And the Gateway is all about doors opening, finding a new path, things coming into you. There's new things coming to you in April, and I think that Gemini got the same card in the April position. So it looks like Cancer, there's going to be new opportunities coming towards you in April. The quote that goes with the Gateway card: I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear. And that's from Rosa Parks. And this is all about expanding your options through education or networking, new phases, new chapters. Like I said, you know, something is opening up for you. A door is opening up for you in April. The crystal that came with it is Moldavite. And the essential message for meaning for Moldavite is transformations, rebirth through fire, initiation and opening to new experiences, revitalization and renewal. So whatever gateway is opening, whatever the gateway is opening up for you, it's going to be like a rebirth for you, and bring renewal to your spirit. New doors open and you cross the threshold. It can be exhilarating to know that you are stepping out of the old and into a new self, ready for the unexpected gifts that come with this initiation. Moldavite Spirit's message is to know that as you walk through an open door, you are being reborn in a sense, for you will be different once you have made a conscious choice to say goodbye to what was. Rebirth always involves tension and struggle. Crystals can only form if there is plenty of pressure to change. If you are frustrated or uncomfortable, know that relief is on the way. So just focus on what is happening as a better tomorrow begins to reveal it yourself. Your passage into the new is assured, so be present, be open, be ready for healing to take place. This new experience requires a new you in a sense, a you that recognizes that you belong here, that you truly can let go of the old. You are so loved, and the conscious universe is so proud. And that is definitely such a great definition for that gateway card. In May, we have on May 22nd a new moon in Gemini, and let's reverse this. On May 7th, we have a full moon in Scorpio, and on May 22nd, we have a new moon in Gemini. The full moon in Scorpio creates the need to delve into your feelings as deep as possible, which I think you guys kind of do that anyhow, being Cancers. You desire meaningful emotional exchanges now more than at any other time, even if it is not easy, and you are faced to change many things. Shallow relationships do not satisfy you because they are not purifying enough. So there may be some relationships leaving your life in May that just weren't really serving a purpose. On May 22nd, new moon in Gemini. The moon in Gemini manifests itself by the need for change and spontaneity. Safety lies in thinking about your feelings and sharing them with others. You can be talkative and speak with ease these days. You might have a better ability to keep a cool head, but beware, cold heart can discourage others. Harmony of thinking and feeling is important. So with that new moon in Gemini, it's important to work with head and heart, not just head and not just heart, but work with them together. The card that came up is a treasure. The first thing I look at with this treasure card coming up, if you look right in the center, that certainly looks like a pentacle to me from the tarot cards, and it reminds me of the Ace of Pentacles. So there's definitely some abundance coming into your life in May with this card coming up. And with all the eyes, there's like 2 eyes in here, but especially the one in the middle looks like the third. And I feel like your intuition guided you to this abundance, or you kind of could feel it coming. You're feeling it coming into you. The quote that goes with the treasure card We can only be said to be truly alive in these moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures. Um, this just talks about the ability to nurture, heal, lead, or inspire is rewarded. Um, Extra care or diligence brings a return. But like I said in the beginning, this very much so reminds me of the look of the Ace of Pentacles card if you look in the center. So I really feel like some great abundance is coming into you guys in May. The crystal that came up, and I have no idea how to pronounce this one, but I'm going to probably butcher it, is Dumortierite. And I know I butchered that. I've actually never heard of that crystal, but it's purple, so I'm sure I'd probably love it. The essential meaning for that crystal, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it again. Organization, orderliness, clutter clearing, and list making. Not all plans will come to fruition, but in the planning, we learn so much. Have you worked out your plans, making lists and organizing your thoughts? The Spirit's message to you is to take the ideas in your mind and commit them to paper in an orderly fashion. For you are supported right now in structuring plans that will help you achieve the fulfillment and healing you seek. So maybe you right now you're just kind of planning something and making lists of things that will bring abundance into your life. Your mental discipline is enhanced now, so pull out your journal and write your to-do items. Draw arrows and pictures that help you prioritize and acknowledge what is most important to you and what needs to be on the low priority end of your list or dropped off your list altogether. This spirit wants you to know that you will feel stronger and more confident once you start working out your ideas on paper. And right now, your power to put it all together in a way that works for you at its peak. Commit to organizing your ideas today, for the conscious universe wants you to know that you are better at this planning stuff than you might think. So maybe you're going to be making lots of pros and cons lists and mapping out some plans in May. In June, we've got on June 5th a full moon and a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. And on June 21st, we've got a solar eclipse and the new moon in Cancer. We're back to that Cancer moon again. The full moon and lunar eclipse in Sagittarius has you in search of something. The greatest need is to always search for something. In order to feel safe, you might find that you need to have a goal, a mission, a philosophy that gives your life meaning. With moon in Sagittarius, you have an optimistic approach to life and you believe that things will get better even if you get in trouble. So you're on some type of mission with the full moon in Sagittarius. The solar eclipse and new moon in Cancer, it's got the safety related to home. We already talked about that in the beginning. There might be some emotional fluctuations and time to learn to forgive and forget and stop overthinking things. The card that came up in June is trust. And the words I hear when I see this trust card is trust that you are being led by the universe in the right direction and trust what your intuition is telling you while you're on your journeys in 2020. The quote that goes with the trust card, it's all about trusting yourself, I believe, in June. The quote that goes with the trust card: your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Rumi. And it's, this talks about seeking, and we talked about seeking with the moon in Sagittarius. So, what barriers have you set up within yourself that work against you with the trust quote is saying? It's time for you to take a look at those. But definitely trusting your intuition and that the universe is guiding you in the right direction in June. The crystal that came up is a diamond. Is a girl's best friend. Not really. Not on my end anyhow. And the essential meaning for the diamond in a rough. Lots of sayings to go with the diamond, huh? The essential meaning is the priceless gift of time and pressure combined, beauty and strength arising from trials and challenges, the right use of power. As co creators with our fellow beings, we are meant to work together harmoniously, giving and receiving, taking turns, and sharing the work, the credit, the fun, and the power of manifestation. Today, you are called to claim your power and exercise it with respect and love for all, even those who are hard to love, especially those who challenge you. You never know what silent struggles people are hiding, and your ability to express love is magnified by Diamond Spirit today. So listen to that part of you that wants to be kind and understanding towards someone who is making it difficult for you to come from your higher self. And we all have those people in our life. Diamond Spirit has appeared to let you know that this is a moment to wield your power mindfully. You have earned wisdom over time as you have suffered much in your life and now are in place of maturity and understanding. Avoid being reactive, for there is strength in quiet. Loving gestures such as the willingness to listen or to say, I am so sorry that you are in this situation. Often it is these gentle actions that hold the most power. Your ability to move hearts is very strong right now. So even as you maintain healthy boundaries, make the choice to own your power and use it with wisdom and grace. In so doing, you align with the conscious universe who knows the healing power of love and compassion. So, it's asking you to come from a loving heart and not to be judgmental of others, and to remember that you really don't know what road that person has had to walk down. In July, on the 5th, we have a lunar eclipse and full moon in Capricorn. And on July 20th, we're back to Cancer again, new moon in Cancer. I wonder if I wrote that down right. No, I may have made an error on that one. The lunar eclipse and the full moon in Capricorn, you might have a strong need for being useful to society, and you look for justification in the outside world. You may underestimate what you want from yourself and for yourself. Shyness may be accompanied by resentment of the fact that others ignore you. Do not seek approval from the outside. It will not help you get rid of your doubt, and it is harmful to you. You have to trust your own inner values, okay? The card that came up is the Shelter. With the Shelter card, the first words that came up for me is, where do you feel protected? Because to me, shelter protects us from, it protects us from the storm. It protects us. Are you seeking protection somewhere from the outside world is what I'm hearing. The quote that goes with the Shelter card. So July might be a little bit of a rougher month. You might want to just kind of stay in your home in July. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us, Ralph Waldo Emerson. So, the divinatory meaning with this card is saying, take shelter in a word, a smile, or a friendship, and know you are not alone. Shield your hope, rest if need, but do not allow your heart to harden or light to fade, okay? But you just may be seeking shelter in the home in July. That's where you feel protected and feel the best during the month of July. The crystal that came up is raw morganite. And the essential meaning for raw morganite is sensitivity, gentleness, empathy, compassion, the gift of vulnerability, and self-forgiveness. No matter how hard the rock over time, water can alter it, making a path where there was none before. The appearance of this crystal is a sign that this is a time for you to embrace your sensitivity and gentleness. And that's kind of what the Shelter card talked about too. There is no need to be forceful when you can simply be open to what you are entitled to receive. Allow yourself to be vulnerable, and this crystal spirit appears in raw and polished form, finding strength in knowing that you do not have to engage in battles that serve no one. You are able to handle whatever dramas are in front of you right now because you're seeking shelter in your home. Your exquisite sensitivity will serve you well, for it allows you to see things as they are. The conscious universe will be gentle with you, and Raw Morganite Spirit is here to let you know that you are not alone and you have a solid foundation beneath you. So express your gifts of empathy and compassion. You are stronger than you know. In August, on August 8th, we have a full moon in Aquarius. And on August 19th, we have a new moon in Leo. Your relationship with your emotions might be more complicated because of the moon in Aquarius, because of a need for emotional freedom. However, when you're in groups of people, it is easier for you to understand your feelings and free yourself from negative emotions. With the new moon in Leo on the 19th, you feel safe in moments when you can impress others and get praise and admiration. Yet when you're in the spotlight, this is when you feel kind of at a loss. And maybe you should admit your fear to criticism and the ability to accept very important feedback. The card that came up is Listen for you guys in August. You know, this card is, I think about a couple of things. First, it's about listening to that inner voice, listening to what your intuition is telling you. But it's also in relationships. It's learning how to be that active listener. You know, listening to what someone has to say without formulating a response while they're talking. Just really listening to what they have to say. We so often don't do that. We're always trying to like come up with an answer to whatever somebody's saying while they're saying it, that we're not even hearing what they're saying. So this card is asking you to make sure you listen to the others in your life that you're in relationships with as they speak, and just listen. The quote that comes with the Listen card: "O Great Spirit, help me always to speak my truth quietly, to listen with an open mind when others speak, and to remember the peace that may be found in silence." The Cherokee Prayer. And this card is asking you to also to drop preconceptions, to just kind of gather information, ask questions, and take careful, considered note of the responses. Delay action until you have explored another perspective or know the other side of the story. But like I said, it's really about being that active listener in August. Maybe there's something somebody has to say to you, and you need to really listen to what they're saying. The crystal that came up is orange sapphire. Isn't that pretty? And the essential meaning for orange sapphire is joy and sensuality, respecting your body and body love. Just as healing crystals are of the earth yet separate from it, we are part of Gaia. In the same water, minerals, and crystals are found within us as well as within the earth. Sometimes we can feel completely in our heads and out of touch with our bodies, but Orange Sapphire Spirit here is to remind us that our bodies will serve us throughout our lifetime. So treat yours lovingly, nourishing it with good foods from the earth and water that will replenish you. Wonder at your body's beauty and strength. Marvel at its ability to keep your heart beating and your lungs inhaling, exhaling without your conscious effort. Regardless of the flaws you think your body has, now is a time to pay attention to it and to tend to it with love. The message of Orange Sapphire Spirit is to honor your body and experience its miracles, the senses that distinguish so many different scents, sounds, textures, and colors. Be fully present in your body today and observe what you experience and what your body has to tell you. Care for it and express gratitude to it, for it is through your body senses that you can experience pleasure. And this was the one that got the Listen card, so listen to what your body's telling you. You know, if it's telling you that you need rest, then take the time to rest. If it's telling you by the way you're feeling that you need to eat better, then eat better. If it's telling you that some of your habits aren't working out too well, time to cut back on some things. So listen to what your body's telling you in August. With those two coming up, there may be a little bit of a health setback in August for you guys. In September, Cancer's on, sorry, not Cancer. On 9/2, we got the full moon in Pisces, and in 9/17, we've got the new moon in Virgo. The full moon in Pisces, your greatest, we already talked about this one. You have a great sensitivity and perception of your surroundings. Um, you can experience feelings of insecurity. You're being passive, more wait and see rather than an active participant in your life. Um, and Pisces wants you to, the Pisces full moon wants you to tap into the Pisces energy and imagination to be that active participant. On the 17th, we've got the new moon in Virgo, and this is when we are talking about wanting to find order and clarity, even in your emotions. You're having a need to organize everything that's chaotic and disorganized, and you need to be more tolerant of imperfections, because nothing in life is perfect, and release expectations. The card that came up is the Divine Companion card for you guys in September. This is the first time I've ever gotten this card. As I look at it, it looks like two people working together. It could be you working together with spirit with this card coming up. Or just finding that relationship in your life that really was divinely guided in September. The quote with the Divine Companionship card is, "The Lord is the one who goes ahead of you. He will be with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed." And this, the divinatory meaning for this card is all about knowing that you have support, both seen and unseen, reaching out and accepting a help of an offer, an unexpected kindness, or surprise company. Reconnecting with an old friend brings joy back to you. So maybe you're going to be reconnecting with someone from the past in September. The crystal that came up is Agerine. I'm really bad at pronouncing these. And let's see what the essential meaning is for Agerine. Integrity, solidarity, impeccability, reliability, and consistency. Although we are always evolving, we all possess deeply held values that we do not have to compromise. Your personal integrity matters, so if you're feeling pressured to say yes when your heart says no, or to be something you're not, listen to the message Irigine Spirit brings you. Now is a time to remember the importance of being reliable and impeccable with your word. I think most Cancers are. If you really wanted to say no, don't say yes for now and try to connect your mistake later. Oh, well, yeah, they'll say yes when they really don't want to. People may struggle to accept your truth and your decisions, but stick to them. Be solid and consistent, because what matters to you deep down matters to the conscious universe who loves you. If you are feeling unsure, doubting whether you have a right to take a stand, become still and reconnect with the conscious universe through this crystal. It's not your job to protect everyone's feelings and keep the peace at all costs. You don't have to rush about smoothing everything over. Be at peace as you stand firm, for your deepest values are in sync with your purpose, and the conscious universe wants you to feel and be strong right now. All right, let's look at October. So October, we have 3 moons. On the 1st, we have a full moon in Aries. On the 16th, we have a new moon in Libra. And on the 31st, we have a full moon in Taurus. And we've talked about all of these moons already because they've come up in other months. The full moon in Aries is, having that feeling of uncertainty that can make you try to rush through things. And the message of the Aries moon is, it's time for you to slow down so that you can decide what you want and how to do it. The Libra moon is all about balance and harmony. And the full moon in Taurus, you're finding safety depends on the need for stability, which sometimes can't be easy to satisfy. You have to learn to change as part of life. So it's being able to accept change the basic problem is finding your own self-respect in order to ensure that you do not mistakenly seek it in material things. Knowing that, you know, everything isn't there in material things. We don't need to keep up with the Joneses. When you accept yourself for who you are, it will become easier for you to find peace and tranquility in the outside world. And the card that came up is an awakening. Okay, so I'm going to have an aha moment in October. Basically, what I see with the awakening. Everything's going to kind of all of a sudden come to light. There's going to be light shed on something with the awakening coming in. The quote for the awakening card: it matters not who you love, where you love, why you love, when you love, or how you love. It matters only that you love. And that's from John Lennon. And this card all talks about a veil being lifted, some type of revelation. Basically, like I said, some type of aha moment's going to come in October for you guys. And it's going to shed a new light on something. Citrine is the crystal that came up for you guys. I can pronounce this one. And the essential meaning for citrine: joyful expressiveness, exuberance, and happiness, letting go of any and all negativity. Now is the time for you to be you and to experience the tremendous joy available to you. With all the hard work you do to overcome your old patterns, heal the wounds of the past, and forgive yourself and others as you walk the healing path, you might find that you have forgotten how to just have fun and laugh. Be happy today. Citrine Spirit is here to amplify the joy in your life. Celebrate your awakening. Celebrate that aha moment. To amplify the joy in life. So feel it and express it as if you are broadcasting it to the entire planet, because you are. However serious life may feel, the conscious universe really wants all of us to have fun. So you are doing important work when you exuberantly share your joy with the world. Make time for pure playfulness and joy today. So definitely telling you that in the month of October, you need to make sure there's room for fun in your life. In November, on the 15th, we have a new moon in Scorpio. And on the 30th, we have a full moon and a lunar eclipse in Gemini. The Scorpio moon tends to have us delving deep into our feelings. And you want meaningful and emotional exchanges during this time. With the Gemini, the moon in Gemini manifests itself by the need for changes and spontaneity. But the Gemini card, the big message of the Gemini card is move forward with your head and your heart, not just your head, because, you know, Gemini are ear signs, so they tend to do the logic part rather than the feelings part. And the moon in Gemini wants you to work with head and heart. The card that came up for you guys is transformation. So there's going to be some changes occurring for you guys in November. You know, you had that big aha moment in October. So now it's time to put that, you know, aha moment into action. There's going to be a lot of new stuff that's going to be happening for you in November. And it's a good time for it to happen because we're closing in on the year. The quote for the transformation card is, as a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. This is the divine mystery supreme. A wonderful thing it is and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do. And that's from Gandhi. You know, this card's about taking charge and making changes where they need to be made. The crystal that came up is Bixbite. And the essential meaning for the Bixbite crystal is drive, courage, full speed ahead, and spirited action. That's great with the transformation card. There is a time to hesitate and a time to move forward with conviction, courage, and total determination. And that time is now. Bixbite Spirit has arrived to tell you to take a deep breath and move full speed ahead with forceful action on behalf of your own healing. Be fierce as you push through obstacles with laser focus, for nothing will stand in your way. You are meant to feel driven at this moment, to break free of the chains binding you to unhealthy patterns. Advocate for yourself unapologetically and be unshakable in your belief that you are worthy of achieving your goal. The conscious universe, the force that propels you, is always there for you as your ally. Now is a time for fearless action. Sail on. Okay, in December, we're at the end of 2020. On the 14th, we have a new moon and solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and this is the moon that has us in search for something. You're on a mission, you have a goal around this time. And then on the 30th, we end with the full moon in Cancer, and that's where the safety is around family and home, emotional fluctuations, learning to forgive and forget, don't overthink things. The card that came up is strategy. So in December, it looks like you're going to be kind of making a plan on how to move forward with all the information and changes that have occurred for you in 2020. You've had an awakening. You've had some, transformation occur in the last couple of months, and now it's time to figure out how to put that into action so that you can move into 2021 in the same place that, in a good place, in a place where you can keep moving forward. The quote for the strategy card is, "Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, and quietly building new structures." John F. Kennedy. This is all about building those new structures as you move forward into the next year. The crystal is rose quartz, one that I can pronounce. And when we look at rose quartz, lots of times we always think of love, because this is the love crystal. The essential meaning for rose quartz is self-love, self-worth, being enough, and worthiness. When rose quartz spirit appears, you are called to pay attention to one of the most wonderful creations the conscious universe has ever brought into being. You. Have you forgotten how beautiful you are? You have so many strengths and a unique set of qualities that will be like magical superpowers as you walk the healing path. Rose quartz spirit has come to remind you of your soul's worth. Many, many people will benefit simply from knowing you and being in your presence, drinking in the love that radiates from your heart. Trust that the conscious universe is always there to fill you up with the power of love whenever you need it, and remind you that you are worthy of all that you seek, for you are an exquisite expansion of divinity. What a powerful and one-of-a-kind source of healing love that you are. And that's a great crystal to get at the end. Just remember to give yourself that self-love too at the end of the year. So Cancer, that is your yearly forecast. And what a great theme to come into 2020 with, having the wisdom from the lessons that you've learned, which is allowing you to be able to know which choices to make as you move into 2020. Have a great 2020, Cancer.